Good evening, everyone. This is another day of business analysis and Scrum batch 9. And track just started. We are just done with our one class. All right. And before we begin, I have one question to all of you. And yeah, definitely everyone can agree and we can start. The question is that everyone knows that complicated things are interesting, simple will lead to the understanding and powerful. Okay, so I have question, like we have the question, also I guess on behalf of Prerna, how would it you want to be, uh, interesting or simple?
Interesting.
All right, cool. So if interesting and simple, then yes, if you want, it will be complicated little as well, because it's complicated, which will make things interesting, but you may not remain interested. So that is another thing. So it is all about interested version versus interesting as well. But all right, thank you for your answer. We'll begin now. And let me share my screen and let me know once you start seeing the screen. Okay, we'll start with our daily code of honor as a part of revision. Okay, and here we are revising the code of honor because of only one thing. It's all about our goal has to be protected, right? And our goal is to what? Get placed. Do we all agree with this? Is it only
Yes,
training or just to get placed?
get placed.
Yeah. So if we have to get placed, we have to follow certain things. And even under Guru School Score core principle, instructor led free training is the first step, which are here for, which are you all here for. And that has to be done under these 6 core values, where first one says that you have to show up live, even if you have a liberty to go through the recording and all. Showing up live and being on time and remain punctual and remaining highly committed will let you do this once you get placed as well, once you will start attending various training. Let me see whether I've started recording. I have. So why? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. That's the universal law you have been listening to. This is the day 2 you have been listening for second time. The second one is the being full stack student, where you are requested to do all the assignments, self research, and repeat what you have learned. When you will do these all what you are asked to do, it will lead to the success for which you are taking already responsibility. But when you don't do that, it also attracts failure and you need to take the responsibility of this as well. Do you agree with this? Tell core value number 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your answer. And the fourth one says that always enter in any game with the 4 types of mindset. One with the learning mindset. Second is your positive mindset. And while these two are you are mastering, remain to go complaint free. And when you will go complaint free with complaint free minded, there are chances that you would be loading yourself with the gratitude, and thereby you will be attracting more of the success and more of the engagement and achievement based on these 4 mindset framework. Okay, the fifth one is to do that you need to increase your receptivity. There is a 30 days of a game, which is by one audio track. It has been spoken by Earl Nightingale, one of the one of the very famous means uh, very famous, you can say, psychologist, as well as uh, you can say he was the pioneer in the self development world, and he was a mind science engineer as well during their own time, where these things began during the age of 1800, 1803, I guess. And that audio track I have shared with you. In case you don't have that, kindly ask me for that after the session, and I'll share that with you. He gives you 30 days of challenge. You must complete that, okay, for 30 days, every single day. He also says that if you have a mindset issue, then what would be the result? You may tend to drop this challenge in between itself, and completing it itself will show you that you are tending towards a very um, strong and bulletproof mindset of the positivity. He says that. And then the second one says that start any learning with the golden quadrant of learning. And golden quadrant of learning says that any learning begins towards the understanding. When we are talking about the understanding, it develops the dendrite connection inside your brain using various neurons. Okay, neural network gets created, and it gets strengthening when you will follow the golden quadrant of learning. And golden quadrant of learning says that it starts with the declaration, with the anchor, which is one of the NLP framework, and thereby it goes deeper towards the learning. And after learning, you are given 24 hours to draw whatever you have learned, and then summarize it back in form of small 1 minute or two video, your own summary, your own summary story, you can say. Okay, how, what you learned, how you have learned, and after that, what did you feel? Okay, in a very simplified manner. It has not to be 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long or something like that. It should be as comfortable as 1 minute or 2 minutes. All right. So did you get that? This golden quadrant of learning 4-step framework?
Yes.
Awesome. So how we are going to start? We are actually going to get started with the declaration, with the anchor. What kind of anchor we would be using? It's a simple self high five or simple clap. At the count of three, we are doing together, and then repeat what is selected once I read it. Clear for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, and clap and say, I am a quick learner.
I'm a quick learner.
No, no, no. Let's repeat again. It has to go with the anchor. Anchor is very important. It let not your ship of focus get wander in the ocean of the thought. That's the reason it's very important to do self clap. Okay, that's why I'm
Okay.
emphasizing once again. 1, 2, 3, and clap, and then say, I'm a quick learner.
I'm
I'm
a
a quick
quick
learner.
learner.
What others can learn and master,
What
What other
others can
learn,
master,
I too can do that.
I
I
too
too
can
can
do.
do.
And once again, self clap, 1, 2, 3, and clap and say, I am an awesome learner.
I'm an
I'm an
awesome.
I'm an awesome learner.
Today's learning is going to be super duper easy to me.
Today's
today's learning
learning
Today's
is
learning
going
is
to be
going to be
super
super duper
duper
super
easy.
easy.
easy to me.
Yes, it is going to be, because we are working a very, deeper level to make things simpler for you. And you should go back from here by understanding the things, just not making things interesting. Okay, so you should remain interested, but things should not necessarily go interesting, but yeah, simply simple. Okay, so that's the goal. And then follow the sixth one says that once you get placed, be the giver. Why giver? Because that gives and makes more space towards your learning. While this happens, it makes you more spiritually grounded, so that you will have the further focus, and with that earning you can have the intent of doing charity. Why? What? Because when you give, you grow, and when you receive, you may survive. And I'm sure here, when we are working towards the earning, we don't just want to survive, we want to make enough so that we can continue to grow. Do we agree with this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all
Yes.
right, thank you. And that's the reason every students from my end at least are requested to do 5% or 10% of charity of their earning. And whatever reason or causes you believe in, you must do that. Be it donating some money towards churches, temples, or mosque, or wherever you believe in, or to in feeding orphans or hungry people, or you decide that how many plates you want to donate. For that, you can use your 5% or 10% of earning, and then appreciate whatever you do and what others do for you, and even someone does not do. So these six are the principle why you need to even appreciate, because what you appreciate appreciates you back. So these six values will be working for you to protect you forever towards getting placed. And what we have learned so far, we are getting into that. So in last session, we had simple intro, and then we understood the business practices. And also we understand few of the name of the methodology, and we have the assignments given for listening to the audio track, and also attain the reference ready resume preparation. How many of you attended the first one? Anyone here who attended the first reference ready resume preparation yet? All
I
right.
did previously, but not today.
Okay, all right, no problem. So, yeah, continue to attend it in case you have not, any one of you have not attended. Reference ready resume preparation is the session which you must attend every single Tuesday and Thursday. So, yes, the timing is given for that. You need to pay attention in the BAQS Scrum group. So, all right. So, with this note, what we are getting into today, we are getting into Agile Manifesto in a glance. We will be also learning agility in the various projects, and we will learn the tools for practicing the Agile. Okay, so are we clear
Okay.
what we are going to achieve today?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, all right. So with this note, I want to invite Prerna. Prerna, may I invite you to start taking up from the Agile Manifesto?
Absolutely. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for a wonderful start. So, before we start with Agile, these are like the, I would say, pillars of Agile on which Agile stands upon. And before starting or understanding the concepts, this is the main thing which will guide you to know more about Agile and how Agile works. Okay. So I'll request each one of you to read one values for me, please.
Yeah.
Sangita,
Indi-
Aparna. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Individuals and interaction over process and tools. Over process and tools.
Okay. Thank you. Next.
Working software over comprehensive documentations.
Okay. Thank you. Next.
Customer collaboration over contract negotiation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Next.
Yeah. Responding to change over following a plan.
Okay. Thank you so much. So even after reading it, you slightly must have got some idea about it. Is it or not? Or do you think it's completely different even from the English of it? You don't understand? How is it? I just want to
No.
understand your, what is your comfort level on this? Are you able to relate what it is mentioned or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Simple. Yes.
kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. So it simply states first point, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Okay. So what happens when we go to any traditional setup, when we go to any traditional banks or any organizations, the processes, the rules, the methods, they're so lengthy, and they are just like no, first you have to do this and that, and then you have to, maybe for example, you go to a particular bank, old bank, if I have to say, or government banks, and then they have a lot of processes, and first you have to fill these many forms, do this, do that, and then you can actually do why you are there, maybe to open an account or create an FD or stuff like that. So this is a very classic example of saying how the productivity gets reduced, or how the work gets postponed or delayed, wherein in agile in agile wide project implementation, what we recommend and what we insist on is the customer, the stakeholder, the people or teams for whom you are working, or rather creating this project and all, their likes, dislikes, or their I would say request, and the interaction with them Like, when you talk to them, they say, okay, I need some more functionality, or I need this project to be done in 2 months instead of 2.5 and all. So all this is important. All this has a higher priority than what it's mentioned in the process and tools. So basically, instead of following the old methods, you have to be, I would say, dynamic. You have to be agile. You have to be on your toes, practical, and you have to follow what the customer or the stakeholders want, what is their requirement, and it has to be dynamic. You understand the word dynamic, right? So it has to be instant, or it has to be practical what they're asking of. So everybody's good with this, or any
Yes.
doubt in this?
Yes.
No, yes, yes, okay. See, it's
Yeah,
basically,
yeah, we're good.
thank you so much. It's actually quite practical, right? So I have a feeling that you will be able to correlate with this, because in earlier ways, how the banks used to operate, or how the even any institutes, it can be offices, schools and colleges, they used to be so process oriented, so rigid. Now things have become very flexible. The simple example of simple and classic example, as during pandemic, everybody was allowed to work from home, right? Except hospitals and medical care and stuff. So earlier it was not the case. Honestly, with the banks and financial institutes, it was not the case. So what we did, we actually changed as per the recent scenario, right? So it's like responding to the current scenario. Okay. The second point states working software over comprehensive documentation. Okay. So what it suggests is, instead of having super in detail documentation where it can be just like preparing and creating documents, and just going on and on and on about it, instead of that, your focus as a team, as an agile team member, your focus has to be on creating a working software. That means a customer has asked you for a project, for a website, for an application, for a, anything, WhatsApp like application, Facebook like application, any. I generally take example of known applications, so it's really easy for everyone to understand and correlate. So when a customer comes and says, I need to have a chat, a messenger, like WhatsApp, and also that time you won't waste or invest your time in having the in detail documentation first. Instead, once you understand what their basic requirements are, and you'll start preparing, you'll start making that application, and you start delivering. When I say working software, means that whatever requirements have been given to the customer, you start working on that and start delivering. That is why agile is so popular or so important, because you are actually giving the delivery to the customer. Okay. So it's simply like for example, you go to a restaurant, for example, just a hypothetical example, and maybe you have asked for a couple of dishes, maybe a complicated one, time consuming one, per se biryani, or per se some complex curry that will take some time. And then if you wait, and they are just preparing for very long time, definitely you will be tired and you will not give a good rating to the restaurant. But whereas if they keep making one dish and keep offering you, like usually happens in restaurant, right? They serve you with whatever can be cooked first, or whatever is available fresh and all. So this is what is actually working delivery. Like, they're giving you whatever is prepared, and then you feel satisfied, right? You feel comfortable that, okay, I am getting delivery of something that I have asked for. You see the difference? Instead of waiting for a long time for them to complete, or give, are they offering instantaneously, or simultaneously whatever is prepared. Are you able to understand the difference here?
Yes.
Yeah, Sangeeta, Archana, Tejaswini?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So basically, always try to remember when we talk about agile, it highly emphasizes on delivery, which is very important part of agile. Okay. And next one of the important one is, by the way, I just want to highlight one thing in this point. You might get this tricky question when they say that uh, is documentation not important in agile, or does agile do not have any documentation? This kind of questions are generally asked. So to answer that, the typical and the correct answer is no. Agile requires documentation. Agile has documentation. But as per Agile Manifesto, it's recommended that a working software is preferred, or working software delivery is rather important over comprehensive documentation. So to give you an insight, they do have the documentation part, but instead of writing super detailed and time consuming documentation, there are documents like BRD, business requirement documents, function specification documents, which are very crisp and which are very point to point, wherein they include what the customer wants. Okay, so are we good with this example, wherein if you get a question that there is no documentation agile, so what would be your answer, guys?
Yeah, agile requires documentation.
Yeah.
We can, yeah, instead, I mean, rather like working software delivery is required. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can always say, instead of comprehensive documentation, Agile has documentation, but it prefers, instead of comprehensive documentation, it focuses on working software delivery, right? So this has
Yeah.
to be your answer. And trust me, this is a very rather a favorite tricky question, because people tend to remember this Agile manifesto and they feel that okay, Agile shouldn't have any documentation. It's not the case. Okay.
But
Now
a
that,
quick,
yeah,
yes. So, what kind of documentation usually they do when if they ask like what kind of documentation? What is the? Can you give me some example of that,
yes,
please?
I just mentioned a few, and that will come
Yeah.
in the due course when we study the business analysis part of it. So there are documents like, there are flow diagrams, entity diagrams. There are main documents which are generally called as Gita, Bible, Quran is BRD, that is business requirement document, or FSD, that is functional specification documents. See, the only difference is instead of writing unnecessary or extra details, you're just mentioning the important ones. You get the difference?
Yeah, but I think BRD, FRD is all business related, right? So usually Scrum Master they do, and they don't.
Sorry, usually what? Can you please repeat?
She said Scrum Master doesn't write them. Like only BRD FRD is done by business analyst. That's what she
So
told.
that's fine, but that doesn't have a connection here. Here we're talking about agile as an entire process. Here we are not talking role specific, right? So the question, to answer
Yeah,
your question, we in agile we emphasize more on I would say point to point or specific documentation, instead of writing. Like if I have to give you an answer, you imagine or remember your school days, and if you had a question of say 5 marks to answer something, you used to have maximum 7 to 8 points of it, right? Because the question was of 5 marks, and you would know that generally 1 mark is to each point, or maybe 2 points and stuff like that. Whereas if the same question is in the essay format with around 10 to 12 marks, you used to be very elaborate, right? And you might used to add some details of here and there, and just to ensure that it is elaborative, it is big, it looks big on the paper, like that. So here the focus is
yeah.
not having the background details. Yeah, you said something.
Technology like what, but is there any example that you can give? Like,
May I add something, Prerna?
Yeah, Gaurav, please.
Okay, so for everyone, let me tell you one thing. Agile Manifesto, what we are learning, it means that what I'm going to talk about what kind of documentation, what you are stages, Sangeeta, you are asking, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk about that. But before that, let me tell you, whatever you read over here just now, Prerna was explaining, it also means that nothing should be the bottleneck towards the development, towards the delivery. Okay. It means that, okay, the hidden summary of it. So the show must go on, the delivery should continue, it should be repetitive, it should be ongoing, it should be incremented every single time. Okay, we will be also looking at few tools. To name a few, there are few very famous tool in these days are monday.com, Trello, Jira. We are looking at them today. We are not means agile documentation is not dependent upon the bulky documents, okay, which BA practices like BRD and all, although these are the documents. However, whenever it comes to documentation, it is not agile as a whole documentation will be dependent. It will become agile testing document, it will become agile development document. So it will vary department wise. That is number one. Number two, but still everything will be shortened and will be put as a small piece of action item inside your agile, inside your rally, or inside Jira, or inside monday.com. Okay, in these tools, in the form of either user story, either feature, either new releases, either in means there will be a different types of ticket. You can you can also indicate them as a candidate instead of calling them just a ticket or just a feature or just an improvement or just an action item. It is also sometimes may be called as ticket as well. So depending what you are depending upon what you are creating in a line or two, with the supporting design and map as well as drawing, you can simply create a ticket, and there you can build all the details you want to. Okay, so that when one person will refer, say for example, a designer or BA has created one ticket, which we will call, you will understand about it, user story. Okay, in user story, he customized and created and give all the action items, and also brief the small feature of a bigger chunk of the component or bigger software. If it he has mentioned about it, he has added also supported document, and then along with that he has also given two new tickets or two small action item for developers as well as a tester who is going to test it. Then from there also they will develop two more new ticket based on that. If developer has got their action item clear, they will create some DFD, that is data flow diagram, or they will just also create some another designs, or they will also develop a code, because the parent candidate means the parent action item also talks about developing two more child candidate or two more child action item for development team, and the same will go with the architect team, the same goes for testing team as well. So are you able to understand what I am saying, Sangeeta, over here, that how in the
Yeah,
agile
yeah.
industry
I actually,
documentation is being made?
right. I just need one line example. That's all. I think you explained too much into all that. Save just one example, because if a question comes, somebody asks, I just wanted to answer in a one line. Like what kind
Okay.
of tools? I understood it's like ticketing, and you
So
said Jira. So that is more
yes,
of agile.
Jira, Trello, and monday.com and everything else. So it goes tool dependent now. Okay, instead of the documentation, more in this. Cool. Can we proceed further? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for adding this. Yeah,
yes, yes.
so the next point is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. It means what it says rather. So generally, typically in any organizations for any projects, we do have we start with contract negotiations, wherein all the details about the project, the scope, the cost, the timing, the sponsors, the people involved, all that is mentioned. And then accordingly, the project goes on, right? As per the timelines, as per deliverables, milestones, including when to deliver what and when the payment should be and stuff like that, right? So this is a very typical traditional approach, wherein in Agile, we focus on customer collaborations. Now, what does customer collaboration means? Like, for example, in the contract, there is a mention that, okay, your first milestone, or per se, if I have to take the example of WhatsApp chat, like software, then the example of creating group functionality, like in WhatsApp you can create a group of around 256 members, so that functionality was to be delivered after 1 month, or that functionality was to be delivered later. But now, because the customer wants to have demo with their internal team, or for whatever emergency or urgency, their priority has been changed, and they really want to have that functionality in the beginning instead of the later part of the project. Then you don't go and say that, okay, no, as per the contract we were to do this in the second or third month of the project, and now you're asking. Instead, you say, absolutely, this is your ask as of now, as per your current requirement, then we will work on it. So what happened here is, you are not rigid, you are very flexible, you're very agile, and you focus on the current ask or current requirement of the customer. Okay. So this is why it's very clearly mentioned that customer collaboration over contract negotiation. That means you have to be very flexible and very dynamic, that whatever the customer is asking, and as per the current situation, we have to focus on there. We don't go back to them and say, oh, this was not mentioned in the contract earlier, or and also, just to add to one more point, all these things should be within scope, because there are many occasions the customers might and does ask for things which are not mentioned in the scope, or which might affect the timeline or budget severely. Okay, this happens in real life too. So in such kind of scenarios, you have to go back to your senior, no, if you are a BA, if you are a scrum master, then you can go back to your product owner, your stakeholders, internal stakeholders, and talk to them, because anything that affecting your, I would say, cost and timelines has to be reviewed upon. So this is just an additional pointer, that though we focus on a customer ask, and we have to deliver as per that, but it has to be within scope, and it has to be well communicated to your seniors hierarchy also, like your internal stakeholders in your company. When I say stakeholder, means everybody and everybody, anybody who has interest or stake in your project, that is rather your entire team, agile team, your product owners, scrum master, internal senior management team, delivery manager from your project, for your organization, any third party companies, or team members working for you, with on specific some or the other software and stuff like that. So this is this point wherein we focus more on what the customer wants now, instead of what was mentioned earlier in the contract. Okay. So are we good? Do you have any doubts, or are you able to understand what it says? Yes.
Yes.
Sangeeta, Tejaswini, Archana. Yeah.
Yes, Fred.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So it's simply so the beauty of Agile Manifesto, which I personally find, is, one second. I don't. One second. Yeah, it simply means what it states. It is quite straightforward, only for your understanding. So we give this real life example so you can have a better grasp of the topic. Yeah. So last but not the least, responding to change over following a plan. Now, if you ask me, this point and the earlier point is kind of related or similar. If I have to, explain. So what it says is responding to a change over following a plan. That means whatever your contract or your plan was earlier, uh, that will not be considered on priority in case there is a change, or there is a change in request or action asked from a customer. Now, what this simply means, like the earlier example I just shared, that customer asked for creating a group functionality the way we have in WhatsApp. They earlier wanted that in after 2 months of the project execution. Now they are asking this functionality to be completed in the beginning. You know, so basically, what happens? Why we are working in agile is because customer requirements, customer demands, market situation, everything is changing very fast. There are new innovations happening, new technology coming in. So many new things keep happening, and definitely as an IT company, or maybe as a part of the industry, we have to be on toes for that. We have to keep delivering, and customer is no far from this reality. So many a times what happens, there can be scenario wherein the senior leadership changes, or the companies, as a customer, their own objective changes, or they want to redefine whatever their ask is. Like for example, if they earlier they wanted to complete this project in per se 1 year. The time span of that project was 1 year. But then when the senior leadership, the CEO, the CTO, the senior management have changed, or they have prioritized this project, and now they want this project to be completed in 6 months. Trust me, this kind of situations happen, right? So in that case, first of all, it's a very big decision, because they're asking for something for completion within half a period of time. So you don't answer upfront. Same kind of hierarchy you follow. You go back to your seniors, you talk to them, and you also understand the implication of this ask, right? So in case they want to complete a project in half of the time, it will result in more cost, because you want to finish the work in half the time, you will need more resources. You will like earlier, if imagine you had per se 7 to 8 people in your team, now you would definitely might require at least not more but double people, because you need to finish that in 6 months. So that will involve more cost, and more resources and thing. And this is just a hypothetical example for your understanding. But this kind of scenario, so basically what it states, that as a team, as a company, as an organization, we have to respond to the change, to the recent ask, to what is the current ask or current requirement of the customer, instead of following the plan which was prepared earlier, which becomes obsolete or stale now, right? So it's actually just like catering to a kid who earlier asked for a simple, proper dal chawal food or meal, and now they're asking you to make noodles, right? So you don't go back to them and say, "Hey, earlier you asked for that," because these are kids, and their mood keeps changing, their taste buds keep asking for something tasty. So this is a very lighter note example, but when it comes to customers, sometimes, trust me, things are like that. They can ask for something extravagant, but if it is within budget, it is within scope, and if you could do it, then definitely for your relationship with the customer, and to have the long term bond, after consulting your senior or your senior leadership, you do work on that. So how about this? What about others? Did you understand this? Any doubt in this manifesto? Yes.
No,
Tejaswini,
no.
Archana, Sangeeta.
I think we are good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, by the way, one pointer. It's raining crazy here, and it seems my network is little fluctuating. So if I drop in between, please try to understand. I'll try to again come back. Okay, just an FYI. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. I just wanted to highlight, and I'll recommend you to write down these four manifestos, maybe in your workstation or anywhere where you can see. Take a picture of this in your cell and keep reading, because it's like the building blocks of agile and knowing them, it should be in the tip of your tongue, because it rather, I would say, it summarizes entire agile process for you. So if you know this, you can explain the entire agile process to anyone pretty well. Okay. So this is my request to all of you. And Gaurav, yeah, we can go to next slide. If you want to add something, you're
Yeah,
most welcome to
definitely.
add here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prerna. Really taking really very, very well. Yeah, just wanted to understand one thing. Understand this. These are things are very simple. Nothing is rocket science over here. Why these are very simple? Because these have been coined up from some insight. Okay, these were implemented first in certain level at some places, and then it got a proof, and then from there the POC even developed, that is proof of concept, and then gradually it started getting accepted by every single person, organization and institution, and then it became, gradually global. So anything will may have such kind of means potency, and till that extent anything can grow. So it's a everything starts with the human, and then it takes the form of a framework. Okay, first they see the result and they ponder upon back that how it evolved till there, and then they design it and make it as part of framework. So this is how anything happens, and these are the simple values on which everyone was getting agreed, and that's then it became the part of manifesto, and now we are getting towards the principle. But before principle, understand, getting into the detail of the principle, in a nutshell, if we need to understand this, I think these were the just part of values we have read, that four values. Now we are getting into the 12 principle. Agile manifesto comes with four principle, four values and 12 principle, and those 12 principle we are going to look at them one by one. So Prerna, do you want me to continue or you want to continue?
Yeah, you can continue on this. Thank you.
All right. So may I ask any one of you, so for example, who can go, who was reading last?
Yeah, it's me. I was reading the last sentence.
It's Tejaswi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tejaswi, can you read the first one?
Yeah.
First bullet.
Customer satisfaction through early and continuous software delivery. Customers are happier when they receive working software at regular intervals rather than waiting extended periods of time between releases.
Yeah, thank you so much. Imagine, now I'm going to relate it with the another example, okay, from the different industry. Imagine you have given your car for service, you have your own four-wheeler, and the person said that, all right, I'm taking your car for normal servicing and it will take almost 2 days for completing the service based on the complaints you have about this particular car or the software. Okay, he takes it back. 2 days you don't have any connection with that car, and till the last moment you did not even heard about the car. How would you feel? Tejaswini, how would you feel? Comfortable?
No.
Uncomfortable? Bit of
Yes.
restless, right?
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing even in the software industry happen. If a customer is coming towards a vendor seeking a help for a software support or software solution, and in case they are not hearing or listening anything back from you, and they don't have any clue on the development part, simple, the trust level is getting dropped. To get them engaged, to get them satisfied, the agile principle says that customer satisfaction is at the topmost priority, and we can earn that satisfaction with the continuous software delivery. It should not happen that at the end of the all the servicing done, you are going to just call the customer and tell that your car is done, now please come and take your car back. In fact, every single the moment in the car, the inside cleaning is done, it's your job to inform the client, okay, we are working on your car, the inside job is done, we have just done the dusting and cleaning and polishing inside. Now we are moving towards the engine part, where we will be doing oiling and mm, all other activity, the technical term he will talk about from the automobile industry. We need to change these, this is, we are changing that, it costs this much, it has got the various variants and variation, which one you want to take. So we will be recommending you this, but you have the option to choose. I have sent you some video or some photograph, you can choose the best and you can tell us. He says, okay, go ahead with that. You see, the continuous delivery is happening from the vendor's end as well, and the confirmation is also coming from the client's end. Okay, however, the confirmation part we will be moving shortly, but however, the continuous delivery part, are you able to relate with that? The same thing also happens in the software industry. The last time I gave you example of from the banking domain, when I was asking you, the entire banking system has to be developed, or initially their requirement is the client what client existence should happen in the system, and that's why they would require a module where all the client details will be fed in, all the client details will be punched in. So then bank says that I want to go ahead with that, and you are delivering one smaller piece at a time. And then once say for example, the name of this particular module is called in that banking sector as a customer presence. Okay, after that it comes that customer presence module is given, then comes cash withdrawal part. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying, everyone? Tejaswini and Sangeeta and
Yes, sir.
Arshana,
Yes,
everyone?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a smaller part, when I am delivering something, what is going to happen? Customer would say, I am receiving something. Okay, and thereby the trust will continue to build up. Okay, so it says again, I'm going to read here. Customers are happier when they receive working software at regular intervals. Here, important is what? Receiving the software is not important. Then what is important? Can someone answer me?
Customer satisfaction.
Okay, so it says that customer are happier when they receive working software at regular intervals. Here, software is not important. Just software is not important. What is important for customer to be
Mm,
satisfied?
providing it in the correct time, like, correct time,
Quick
deliver time.
response.
Yeah,
Yeah, quick customer satisfaction.
yeah. Now let me ask again. So thank you so much for your answer. Let me ask again. Customer satisfaction, for customer satisfaction and regular interval, mere software delivery is not important. Okay, then what else is important? I just now read, customers are happier when they receive working software at regular intervals rather than waiting extended period of time between releases. It's not about the software. Software is just software is not important. Then what is important? That is my question.
Working software.
Exactly, Sangeeta. Exactly. It's a
Software.
working software that should be underlined. Okay. So, in fact, anyone can give that. Okay, this is the module in the banking where you can have to see your customer presence. Okay. And what if you have delivered and I'm not able to add a new customer? I will be not able to modify the customer. What will be the use of that module? It's all about working software. That's the key line. Remember that. Okay. So as a future business analyst and scrum master, you should be aware of this thing. Okay. Are we delivering as a team together the working software, or are you able to facilitate your team to have this kind of a focus? Are you with me, everyone, so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Second one says, out of 12, that accommodates changing requirement throughout the development process. Yes. So that's when the agile came into the picture, right? Because accommodating changing requirement, because while the software was getting developed and the changes were coming up, okay, and in previous methodology. And what was the previous methodology? I want to go over there. Okay, the previous methodology was what it was simple waterfall methodology. Okay, and in that waterfall methodology, what used to happen, first customer used to give a requirement. Okay, so requirement gathering used to happen. Do you understand what is requirement gathering? Where customer will come to you, or you go as a customer to a vendor, you tell that, hey, these all are my requirement. Okay, you need to fulfill it. Okay, then requirement used to come into the picture, then you need to document it earlier. Okay, without document, what used to happen, the rest of team, they used to give excuses because there is no documentation, how I can proceed. Anyone have experienced such kind of stuff in their life, that manual is not there, how can I operate a refrigerator? Has it ever happened? Manual is not there, how can I um, uh,
Yeah.
operate this
Yeah.
thing, even
A top.
microwave? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how it happens. So, miss, because documentation is not there, how should I go ahead? Okay. Well, the entire documentation you need not to know. The small chunk of the story, if you know, you can proceed further one step ahead. Now, another example I'll give you from the normal walk of life. When you are driving a car, and you see that the entire tunnel, your car is going inside through a tunnel, and the entire tunnel you are not able to see just a few kilometers. You can't stop your car in the tunnel stating that, hey, I'm not able to see the entire tunnel, and there is no light beyond the tunnel, how I can go ahead further? At that point of time, you will be simply asked, after every 1 kilometer there is a lamp, there is a light, kindly follow till the next kilometer, and after that you will be able to see the light further. Right, we can go ahead with that. Right, you don't need to know the entire map all at once. Google or Siri won't tell you that the entire map is this, just follow it. You will just choose a direction, you will follow that for few kilometers, then you will continue to follow the navigation. Are you with me so far? How you are approaching to the destination in a piece by piece manner, in a smaller
Yes.
kilometer, in a smaller chunk. In the similar manner, you will be delivering a software in a smaller chunk. However, in requirement gathering used to be the first phase, then second phase, documentation, and then they get the developers get into the design mode. Okay, then design used to come into the picture. Design as in software developer, they used to design the UI part, that is the user interface and all. Okay, then used to come, and excuse me for this kind of a design, this is just for understanding purpose, just go get don't get into that it has to be perfect. So you should understand that is the goal. Then they get into the coding part. Okay, so documentation, design, and coding. Once coding used to done, then what used to come? Any guesses? Any guesses, guys? If requirement is there in the place, now you have documented it, now you started designing it, then what should come into the picture? They used to code, so that your design
Yeah.
should work as per code. And after code, what used to come? Then they used to think. Yes, any answer?
Deploy or test.
Okay, test. Okay, let's test it whether it is working as expected or not. Okay, once they used to test, once they used to get tested, then it used to come as deployment. Okay, now it is test pass, let's get into the production means let's get into the deployment towards the end user, because it has undergone various stages of the testing. Deployment used to be there, then it used to come as a then deployment, then support, and then maintenance, and these all things. Everyone is following what I am saying?
Yes.
Few
Yes,
things
sir.
which you did not understand, kindly ask. Any words? Support and then maintenance. I'm not getting into the details of it. However, when you will look at it, you will find this was just following as a water. Okay, one by one, every single step. It used to call as waterfall model. And when you are coding it, okay, and customer used to come, hey, I need to know, accommodate, I want you to accommodate one single request from my end. Then they would say that kindly wait until we deploy, and then we will go back again to understand your requirement. And by the time they used to understand the requirement and start working on them, by that time another requirement used to come into the place, because things were advancing like lightning speed. Okay, but the designing used to not happen and delivery used not to happen in the lightning speed. So there was a gap, a huge gap into the entire system of the delivery. Okay, delivery of the software of after getting designed and after getting coded and tested and deployed and then being into the market. So to bridge that gap, what happened? The Agile manifesto came into the picture, Agile practices came into the picture, Agile methodology came into the picture with this principle also, that whenever it comes to software delivery, we will be making sure whatever a customer wants to accommodate as a change, we will accommodate that in the development process. And because we are delivering in a smaller piece, it is very easy for us to accommodate one of the requirement in one of the smaller piece of the delivery and then go further. Are you following everyone with me?
Yes, sir.
How it was accommodating into the changes, how the changes were accommodating into the delivery. And it says that the ability to avoid delays when a requirement or feature request changes. Okay, so this principle itself is a protecting any delay. Okay, so the basic thing is that even if a new requirement or new changes are coming, we can accommodate because we abide by this 1 second principle. Second principle clear, that accommodating changes throughout the development process. At any point of
Yes.
time, we can accommodate that. Cool. Let's move towards the third one. The third one says what? Who can read this? Tejaswini, you just read. Archana,
Yeah.
can you read the third one?
Yes, sir. Frequent delivery of working software. Scrum accommodates this principle since the team operates in software sprints or iteration that ensure regular delivery of working software.
Exactly. Thank you so much for reading this. So remember, here important is that, as you have just now highlighted, Sangeeta told and shared with you, it's not just software, it is working software. And it's just not working software, it's also the frequent delivery of that. Okay. And Scrum is a framework, it's a part of Agile. Okay. In Agile methodology, Scrum is a framework which will accommodate this principle of the third one, the bullet point which you are reading here, the frequent delivery of working software. Since the team operates in a software sprint is a nothing but is a time duration, okay, or the iteration, okay, that ensure regular delivery of working software. So you need not to wait longer, okay, longer as in a year or two or something like that. Okay, in a smaller weeks, even 1 or 2 or maximum 4 weeks, you can decide to deliver something. Okay, and you go ahead and deliver that. Okay, and you will also make sure that is working. So that became the third principle of Agile. Okay, so we will accommodate the changes, we will satisfy the customer with the frequent delivery of the software, but also this should be a working software. Okay, so these were the three principles. Fourth one, may I request you, Sangeeta, to read the fourth one?
Collaboration between the business stakeholders and developers throughout the project, better decisions are made when the business and technical team are aligned.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for reading this. So understand here the collaboration is very, very important, and collaboration can go into the deeper level. Okay, so this collaboration has to happen between the business stakeholders and developers throughout the project. Like, is it only one way delivery from my end? Will it work? Say, for example, I come over here and I'm talking, reading, and I don't even care whether you are receiving or getting anything or not. Okay, will that work? Or the moment I am collaborating with you, asking you whether you are understanding it or not, I'm tweaking how should I present the example, how should I give the supporting analogy, how should I make sure that you understand what I'm delivering. It is making a deeper level of collaboration. Are you getting this? Do you
Yes.
agree with this, right?
Yes.
And then the receiving part is going higher and higher and higher, and thereby it is giving me a boost of confidence that you are getting it, you are receiving it, what I am giving it to you. And the moment I am delivering and you are not even catching it up, there the whole point is in vain. Okay, there is no point in delivering until unless you are not receiving. So it has to be a two-way collaboration. And that's when the agile principles come into the picture. So it has to involve the business and stakeholder and developers throughout the project so that better decision can come out. Even they need to align some technicality. Okay, they need to tweak some technical presence, or they need to tweak some technical functionality. They can do that with the alignment, with the decision made together. And for this, the fourth principle, that support at higher level. Do you understand that what is the importance of bringing these stakeholders and developers together? Who are stakeholders? To in a layman term, you can understand everyone involved in the project would be called as stakeholders. It's just not investor, it not only the customers, it also whoever stake is there in the project, those people will be called as a stakeholder. And that's why it also says that business stakeholders and developers as well. Are you with me so far? So everyone will be working as a team together. Okay. Whenever necessary, we will invite them for a smaller ceremony or a smaller meeting, and they will discuss. Every ceremony or meeting will have their own different name. Okay. We will be looking into that. But these four bullet points, four principles are clear for us, right? You can take a picture of it if you want. Yeah. Was it simple for you to understand?
Yeah, sir.
Everyone. Thank you. Let's move to the fifth one. All right. So fifth one says that support, trust, and motivate the people involved. Okay. Motivated teams are more likely to deliver their best work than unhappy teams. Now, if a logical mind or technologist mind or software mind will come into the picture, what they would say, hey, what kind of things you're talking about? Software, trust, and motivation, are these part of software? No, why you are teaching me these all? Oh, all right. As I said, the very first example, that anything has been evolved by human, and when human are designing something, they are giving their experience based on their result of success in any achievement. They re-engineer that, they do a reverse engineer, and they ponder upon, and they define, and they make a line that what all the steps they played to come and achieve at this milestone. And when they outline them all them together, that becomes the framework. Okay. And the moment they find the framework, they also check back that what all values I played with, uh, what all principle I took care of that. And then they design their simple own core values, their own principles, and their own framework as well. So that's the reason I said nothing is rocket science. Okay. And here is a very simple mindset game. Agile is also a mindset. Okay. So it says that all the involved people has to be highly motivated. They need to support each other. Okay. And it's only motivated team are more likely to deliver their best work than unhappy teams. If your team is unhappy, and if you are targeting to deliver something 2 weeks time, they may lose the momentum in just within a week, because the set of the unhappy teams are working with you. Okay. And the moment they are highly motivated, they trust each other, they tend to support each other. Even someone lacks some piece of code is not working, the entire team may come together to help one developer to make sure that things will start working the way it is supposed to. Okay. And that's when this principle plays a very critical role to keep the team on their toes. Okay. So that they will make sure the delivery will not happen, delivery will continue. Are you with me so far, everyone? The fifth one I just now read.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
May
Yes.
I invite you to read the sixth one, Tejaswini?
Yeah. It's enable face-to-face interactions. That's communication is more successful when development teams are co-located.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Tejaswini. So understand here, face-to-face interaction is must. Anyone can write an email and they can sit back stating that, hey, I had written an email, one piece of action item was there, and somehow the email has gone into the spam or it was not looked upon. Okay. Writing email is not important. The communication should be flown and the action should be taken. That should be the key objective. Okay. So it's not about you coming here just for a training. The core objective should be you getting placed. Okay. And for that, whatever is required, the action item has to come. It's not what you are learning over here. After learning, when you are going back, what you are producing, that is more important, so that that will define the next step or next result. Are you with me so far? Yeah. So
Yes.
for that, I need to communicate that. I just not to assume that, okay, I have said everyone, I told everyone that the moment in the code of honor, the moment I said that this is the 4-step journey, that we start with the declaration, with the anchor, then we get into the deep learning, and then I request you to go back and draw in 24 hours whatever you learned, but also you need to summarize it in a minute or two. You can post a smaller video as well in the group where you are finding all the messages coming in for the next training and next RRP sessions. But just mere I'm telling you that I am communicating you at the start, at the end, and in the mid, is that enough? But also you delivering it, you means doing it, you are acting upon it, that is also important, right? Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
So when I'm communicating this, I'm taking the confirmation as well. Agree with this what just now I said? I'm also taking confirmation for you, from you, right?
Yes.
The moment I'm asking that, I'm taking the confirmation, and you are responding, it means you are confirming that. So that kind of communication is playing a big role over here. Okay. And that will lead towards the success. Okay. And especially when you are listening to me from India, from Pune, sitting at US or Arizona or in California or wherever you are. Okay. Or New Jersey for that matter, anywhere. Only the thing is that whether communication is being passed or not, and if you are getting communicated, you are understanding that or not. And if you are not understanding, I will use the different framework to communicate. I may sending you and talking to you in the class. Tomorrow I may send a voice note to you. Tomorrow I may send a picture to you. Tomorrow I may send anything else. Various way I will use so that you understand what is the action item you need to take. At the end, because I have I have not invested my money in you. In fact, you have invested your own money, and still if you won't be interested, it's okay for me to stop at some point, because my delivery will be over. But ultimately what I did, I'm continuously enabling the interaction. And when it comes to agile delivery, see, every single delivery can follow one methodology, one framework. So it's just not that IT will accommodate agile. It's also a training can go in agile mode. Okay, so I want you to understand at the deeper level. Okay, well, I'm getting into very simplified manner. That's why I was explaining you at the detailed level. But understand, it's your communication. Tomorrow, if you are getting placed, kindly do not assume anything without interacting. Okay, it's not necessary once you said that it has to be done and person has understood. Take a check back. Okay, get the confirmation kindly. Then your confirm interaction will be over. Okay, your confirmation is the best important thing. Have you ever sent an email to someone where you have check mark that read receipt? Have you ever sent any email with the read receipt?
No.
Okay, tomorrow I would encourage, if you are sending an email, send with the read receipt.
Okay.
First, with the for the practice. Second, you there will be a different level of the satisfaction as a sender, that your email is read, your what you said is heard. What will be more enabling once you know that someone is reading your mind, someone is reading your thought, and someone is ready to take action on what you said. That time you will be more satisfied. Or you just send email and you don't even realize whether your email is not open. The first one or second one, which will give you more satisfaction?
First one.
First one, right? So
Yeah.
that is the importance of this sixth principle, enabling the face-to-face interaction. In the face-to-face, what happens? You know the person is listening to you. You know the moment you are talking to that person, the person is looking at you, and you are looking at him. It's not that you are looking at in the east and the listener is looking at the west, and you are assuming that you guys are listening to each other. Even that will not work. It is always face-to-face. Okay, good. So let's move to the seventh one. So Archana, could you read the seventh one, please?
Yes, sure. Working software is the primary measure of progress. Delivering functional software to the customer is the ultimate factor that measures progress.
Exactly. So delivering is the most important. Functional it has to be, and it has to be working in a very simple layman term. Thank you so much, Archana, for reading this out. Sangeeta, may I ask you to read the eighth one, please?
Agile processes to support a consistent development pace. Teams establish repeatable and maintainable speed at which they can deliver working software, and they repeat it with each release.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sangeeta. So you understand over here in the eighth principle what is happening. It's all about, to support a consistent development pace. Pace has to be consistent. If you are delivering for within a 3 weeks, tomorrow I would expect as a customer in the same 3 weeks, because now I am gradually getting habituated to it, to listen from you within a week's time or 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time. You define your own delivery style. You define your own gaps, that after how much time I should be listening from you, and then that sets a tonality of delivery as well. Okay, and it will continue to repeat. And not only the repeat, remember, at the end it should be maintainable as well. Okay, so repeatable and maintainable speed at which they can deliver working software. Okay, so this is very important, that your software should not be just a working, it should be maintainable. And it should not only be the maintainable, its trails should be repeatable in terms of delivery as well. Okay, and then I understand that what is the release timelines. Okay, in advance, what you can see, tell as a product owner is a one of the person, authoritative person, who will remain in connection with the customer. Okay, and he's the part of, you can understand him as a captain of a ship. Okay, so he drives the entire show initially, and he makes sure that whatever customers requirement is there, so for that, even your scrum master would be there to facilitating all the engagement and ceremonies. But as a team, whether you are working in that direction and you are consistently developing and you are following all the agile processes and delivering the working software in a repeated time interval, that is also important. That will be made sure that everyone is with this, on this, and understand this, the importance of it, and they will continue consistently deliver what is expected to deliver. Okay, and that has to be working software. And again, if I need to iterate, I would say that it should be maintainable, and the entire process can be repeated even after certain point of time. The moment I am talking about certain point of time, I'm indicating towards one thing which you might have read somewhere here in these 4 or 8 items about the sprint. As I said, sprint is nothing but the time duration, to understand you in a simple language. So in a smaller interval, a smaller piece of software is getting delivered. So that is ensured by the eighth principle of Agile Manifesto. Okay. Uh, Eighth principle of Agile in the mentioned in the Agile Manifesto. Are you all with me so far and follow till the eighth principle, everyone?
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
hi Gaurav. Do you want me to
Yes.
continue?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Should I flip the
Yeah,
slide?
please. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I got actually disconnected in between. Then I
No
joined.
problem.
You were explaining, so I didn't interrupt.
No
Yeah.
problem. Please. Yeah.
So going back to the principles, Gaurav has really nicely explained 8 of them. And as we already mentioned, there are total 12 principles. So 4 manifestos and 12 principles, right? So can someone read the first one for me, please?
Attention to technical detail and design enhances agility. The right skills and good design ensures the team can maintain the space, constantly improve the product, and sustain change.
Perfect. Very well read also. Thank you so much. So what it says is attention to technical detail and design enhances agility. It simply means whenever you're working on a project, you're working on some deliverables, you have to give or you have to ensure that there is in detailed attention to the technicalities or how you implement the project. Like if you all must know currently nowadays, even the customers or client companies are also technically very advanced. They know what the latest technologies, platforms, or open source codes and stuff. It's all the technical part of it that is available in the market, and what is the trending technology. So they themselves also ask us as a company to implement particular technology or platform or use of this database over that. So what agile says is that we have to use the right skills and good design. Now, when I say design, for your understanding, you all must have seen this architectural diagram of any building, or if you build any house in your native or even in US, you know how the structure comes as? Have you seen that even in a movie? We generally call it as a blueprint. Have you seen it,
Yeah.
guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So do you know why it is prepared generally? What is the purpose of that design or that blueprint?
To just have the basic idea of the house that you're building, like where the door is gonna come or where the wall is gonna come. Just to have
Absolutely.
a brief idea.
Right. Yeah. So just to add to you, not to have a basic idea, but to have an in detailed idea, like from
Okay.
where we will have the entrance to the kitchen, and where
Mhm.
we can have the chimney fixed, where will be the sink installed. So it basically gives us a in detailed understanding of how the structure will look. Okay, now this is for a house or anything that you can see visually. That's a tangible thing, I would say. But in
Yeah.
case of in case of projects also, though we understand or we use them as applications, like WhatsApp. If I can ask you, can you see WhatsApp, or can you see WhatsApp like a building or like a house? No, right? But you can use WhatsApp, you can use Facebook as an application. But trust me, it also has a flow, it also has a system, it also has a design. Like for example, in WhatsApp, while login, you have to give your phone number, then an OTP comes, it validates you as a user, then it asks you, do you want me to load your earlier chats? So you see, it's a process. So all this process, it also has a design, and and we have design documents for it. Earlier I was mentioning about flow diagrams, entity diagrams. There are many variety of diagrams we will teach you later. So all in that format, we have this system designs. Okay, so that is what Agile says, is that we have to give when we give enough and proper attention to technical and design aspect, it increases the agility, increases the overall efficiency, it increases the I would say quality of the deliverables, right? So just to going back to the earlier example, when you have a blueprint, the chances of making or building something wrong reduces. I'm not saying people don't make mistakes, they still do here and there in case of human error, but still you have a guidance, you have a guide to follow. In similar fashion, when you give attention to details and technical aspects, you have things to follow, and the project turns out to be well executed, and with a very good results. So you see the similarity between these examples, yes or no?
Yes.
No
Yeah.
responses, no?
No,
Yes.
no,
Yes. Yes, yes. See, I try to give the real life example so you can actually relate with it and try to understand like how it can be in software. Okay, thank you so much. Next point, somebody can read for me, please.
Um,
simplicity,
Simplicity. Yeah,
yeah.
yes, please.
develop just enough to get the job done for right now.
Absolutely. Generally, I personally feel that simplicity is very underrated. Simplicity, as the word means, keep it simple. Okay, you just have to follow or do what is asked right now. So, in the development terminology, it's mentioned that develop just enough to get the job done for right now. Okay. Now, why this sentence or why this principle is so important? Because as I was explaining earlier, today even customers or overall industry is very dynamic. Okay, it's extremely volatile. There are changes, like how pandemic changed the outlook of ours towards everything. Everything went online, starting with your work from home, kids schools, everything except I think medical care, or other or I would say defense. Everything was virtual, everything could be done online and at your ease of your home, from the ease of your home. Similarly, we are not sure what is there in store for us, and what the new technology, market condition, customers requirement would be. Hence, it means that whatever the customer is asked for within the given timelines, just focus on that. Okay, you don't have to overthink, you don't have to overdo, you just have to complete what is your current in hand process, and you have to go ahead. So are we good? It's actually simply means what it states. You have to do what is mentioned. So don't go overboard with that. Don't try to play a little smart by giving some extra feature which might result in more time and stuff like that. Better we focus on what the customer is asking as of now, because we don't know what will be their priorities later. Okay. So are we good with this? It's a really, it is a simple principle.
Yeah.
That's why the name itself is simplicity. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Can somebody read the next line, please?
Self-organizing teams encourage great architectures, requirements, and designs. Skilled and motivated team members who have decision-making power take ownership, communicate regularly with other team members, and share ideas that deliver quality products.
Thank you so much. So it basically mean what it says. Okay. So this happens, like for example, maybe during your school or college days, you're in some debate competition or some inter-college competition, and your team members were all I would say excited, knowledgeable, and very enthusiastic people. So your team was very upbeat, and so you could feel the energy, and you gave your best as a team member, and you actually might have won, or you at least performed well in that particular category. Whereas in certain scenarios, you are tied up, or you're grouped into people who are very low on energy, they are not motivated, they're constantly cribbing and whining, and and you just feel that you just feel disconnected, and you don't do well along with them. Have you experienced this in professional, personal, in your school, college life? I need to know, yes or no.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So you see the performance difference when we are with encouraged and upbeat people, and when you are not so optimistic or whining category of people. It does changes, right? It does change, I would say. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So coming to the similar point, when we have, see, when I say self-organizing team, it simply means that the team is well organized. They don't need anyone to supervise them. They know what their work is. They know what their expectation is on work front, and they know how to carry it well on their own. Right. So it's just like when you're a kid, you were a kid, your parents or your tutor used to take your homework, constantly by sitting with you and prompting or dictating every word and lying to you. But as you grew up, as you went to mid school and stuff, you started taking that ownership to yourself. You were self motivated, you started studying on your own and stuff like that. Similar fashion, when you have this team and that they when they have great architecture, means you have the best of diagram, best of process flow diagrams, pretty about the project pretty well, and you know about the requirements and all. So all this, along with the skilled and enthusiastic team members, it's a great combination, right? So they have the right or the perfect decision making power. They take the ownership, they communicate with each other properly, so there is exchange of ideas, exchange of flows, and all this ultimately results in a great quality product. Okay. So it simply means when there are people who have the best of qualities when it comes to ownership, work ethics, and technology design, it is bound to result in the best quality product, right? Because you have all the ingredients for it. You're dedicated, you're knowledgeable, you are following the timelines. So all these things ultimately results in the best quality product, right? I think you all can relate to it, even as women, as even if you're working at your home, whenever you have to work on a project or work on a dish or work for an event, the people around you matters a lot, because that is how the entire energy shifts. So I guess everybody is okay with this point. Can I move ahead, or do you have any doubts in this? Please, can you raise? Yes, Archana, Sangeeta, Tejaswini, any doubts
Yeah,
into
good.
this?
We're
No.
good
Okay.
now.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you have any later also, you can always connect to us. So
Sure.
last but not the least, as I always mention, is can someone read this point out, please?
Regular reflections on how to become more effective, self improvement, process improvement, advancing skills and techniques help team members work more efficiently. Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much for reading it out. Now, this is a very practical point, right? And I think somewhere in your life, or even on regular basis, you must have worked on it. What it says is regular reflections on how to become more effective. I don't know, I keep going back to the school college days, because that time the sincerity or the seriousness of studies was at its peak, because we had to score really good marks for our entrances, for our board exams, or for our national level exams. So that's why I kind of feel very much related, and I prefer to give this example. So that is what it says: regular reflections on how to become more effective. Like, if you're an athlete, or if you're studying for some competitive exams, you keep checking your performance. Okay, like how much, and how much time I can run for 100 meters, or in how much time I can solve this question paper, or so what you keep doing, you keep repeating the process, and you ensure that you're improving one slowly and gradually. So if you're a runner, if you're an athlete, you would like to reduce your completion time, that can be in microseconds and milliseconds and whatnot. So similar way, if you are working, if you want to give some competitive exam, you need to ensure that you solve the entire paper in some particular amount of time and stuff like that. So similar way, in an organization, when after each delivery, as a team, as an individual, you sit back and you reflect, okay, like, okay, how I could have done this better. Okay, I need to learn this new technology, because this new technology requires very less amount of coding, but it has a greater impact. Okay, we need to install this software, we need to learn this tool. Okay, we have to go to Jira instead of the traditional portals. We have to install these many libraries into your framework. So you understand what we are doing here. We are trying to work on ourselves, or work, or trying to better ourselves. So it's basically self improvement, process improvement, and you're advancing, or you're improving of your skills and technicalities or techniques, which in turn help the team members, or in turn your entire you, first of all, it all helps you as a person, as an individual, and overall it also helps the entire team, project team, delivery team, to achieve their goals, or to deliver very efficiently or effectively. So, have you understood this point? Do you need any further explanation, or are you good? Yes, please let me know. I'll encourage you to speak. Okay, it can be yes, no, yeah, I could not, or oh, I could relate, anything. Yes,
Yeah, we were able to understand. Yeah.
able to understand. Thank you so much. Yeah. What about Archana and Sangeeta?
Yes, me too.
Got it.
Yeah,
So I have
thank you.
one question about the previous point. Like we were talking
Mhm.
about doing something extra. Is it a good thing or bad thing? Right? If we are discussing, like we can do whatever up to the point. We don't have to give
There
extra.
is
But
some background noise at your end, and by the way, you can be a little louder, please. And I'm not able to understand what your question is. Yeah, can you please elaborate again?
no, is it okay to give extra to the client?
Okay. Now, this is a very important and tricky question as well. See, to have the relationship, the bond, or the customer satisfaction part, sometimes you're encouraged to deliver. It's not about give more, it's deliver more to the customer, what they might have asked, or something that you feel can be an important functionality, right? Those are called free cookies. So it's like just to be in the good books, or just to maintain a good relation, we offer. But then, to answer your question, Sangeeta, all this free or additional functionality, or anything that you want to cater to the customer, should never be at the in the at the cost of additional timelines or additional cost. So till the time, if you could manage that within the given timelines without it affecting your overall budget, you're free to do that. Not always, and definitely it's more or less, you have to check with your senior, you have to check with your scrum master and product owner. See, some small features, instead of adding some pop of color or some small animation which you feel might go great with the functionality, that is fine. But if there is some particular functionality, like if you want to create an additional page or additional feature, see, all these things really cost time, money, resources. Okay, so yes, you can give, but then it has to be well, I mean, you have to run it through with your seniors, and you have to ensure that it is not affecting your future timelines, or it's not hurting your budget also, right? So does this answer your question, Sangeeta?
Yeah. But I think, yeah, like it's not, for what my understanding is, it's not a good idea to do that, because that we have to give what they want. That's more important. Maybe that's what my understanding
So
is. But
your understanding is correct. So what they okay, so let me put it this way. Okay, it's like it's like you go to a typical birthday party. Just a light example. Okay, you go to a birthday party and they all give you a piece of cake. Okay, but then someone comes and give the cherry to you that was on the cake. So you already had a piece, but then someone gave you an add-on. Would you feel bad or good? Unless you don't like cherry like me. So how would you feel when they give you something additional after they offer you? You'll feel good, right? So
that.
yeah, so same for customers. And then I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Many a times it is encouraged, because see, in future there are times when you tend to miss the timelines, or there can be some I would say I wouldn't want to say arguments, but there can be scenarios where you feel that you would need the customer support and collaboration, and just to be on the good terms. There are chances, or many times what we do, we deliver something before timelines if we have already worked on that. So all these things are done, but I'll again emphasize and repeat, not at the cost of hurting the budget or hurting the timelines. Okay, so yeah, it's a good idea, but it's not always done, because it is not practical to keep giving them something for free or something in advance, because it has to be practical also. Yes.
May I also add something? So,
Sure, sure.
yeah. So, Sangeeta, to answer you, never give extra, but do add value. Okay, as your question was important, and it is answer is subjective. Never give extra, but add value. How would you do that? And even if you are adding value, you need to get the confirmation from the client. When it happens, there is a ceremony called as a review, sprint review. Okay, where even client is there. You are demonstrating what you are giving to the client has the right to say, hey, I don't want, even if you are done extraordinary job, but I don't need this extraordinary. And you should be at will, and it should be easy for you to discard from that value addition. Okay, means you are presenting something additional and you are ready to take out when you are asked to. So it has not hampered your effort, company's effort, and the entire team's effort, and still you are able to decide whether it can go to them or it can come back to me. Okay, are you good with me so far? Did you understand what did I say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So say for example, you are speaking up something, okay, right, in video. You are sharing a summary video that what did you learn today, and I really did not want to hear you in your voice. What if you added something and I can read what you are speaking, right? That is a value addition, right? That can really simply wow me. Now I may as a client come and say, did I ask you to do this? Please, why did you add it? Kindly discard it. Now if such kind of requests are coming, it should be easy for you to even discard those captions. I mean, whatever you are speaking now, it is giving me caption as well. Even though it is a value addition, when I ask you, no, right now I don't want this feature, you should be easily able to discard it, disassociate it. But whenever I know that you have this feature as well, I want to pay you for that. and I come back with the payment and say that, can you add this feature? I really love that. It really simply made me wow, and I want you to pay for that. Okay, so that's the reason when you are giving something extra and it may lose some money, it is always encouraged not to give that, but you can showcase that I can give it to you that, but you may take it, you discuss it with the team and your senior, can we give it to them as a gesture for free, or can we just showcase them so that we can have some extra money? Okay, so it's all about discussing inside and then going ahead. Cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think we have come to the remarks of 90 minutes completion. I think it's good idea to stop over here, but before we stop, I want you to take two pictures. Okay, one this, or whenever you are listening to the recording, kindly focus over here. There are the some set of certificates that you can do and can use this certification for various projects into the IT industry till you want to spend your career. Okay, that is number one. Understood? This showcase in the
Yeah.
various project, various certification can be used, and this one I want you to decide one of the tool which you are going to create a free what do you call
Trial.
yeah, free account, create a free trial version account, try to use any one of the tool. Okay, this is the name of the tool, where and you need to explore. You may ask, hey, what I need to do in this tool, that you need to figure out what you can do in this tool. Okay, you don't have to come back and ask us what I should do in this tool. You should figure it out, that what all you can do, study that. That will be the part of self research, and you should be telling us later when you will be asked. And in case you have explored it well in advance, then go ahead and you can publish your smaller video. Now let me reiterate what we are doing. On Sunday we are meeting, we are studying. Okay, on Monday you are going back, you have 24 hours to create your own drawing. That is number one. Okay, and then Tuesday you are coming here again for starting the technical stuff, and also you have liberty to attend reference ready resume preparation. Wednesday again going back, whatever you have learned into Tuesday, you are going to create a drawing onto that. Okay, and then Thursday, what you are going to do, what you did learn on Sunday, you are going to publish a smaller summary session, some summary video out of that, whatever you have learned, that you are going to do on Thursday. And on Friday, what you are going to learn, what you are going to do, whatever you have learned, that you are going to publish on the Friday from Tuesday session. Okay, Saturday will be your breather day, and Sunday you are again coming back for the new learning. This is how throughout the 7 days you will remain engaged, and the more you will engage, the more you are connected, the more you will be getting at the ground level, at the deeper level of the subject, and thereby it will be continue to boost your confidence towards the delivery and towards getting placed. Did you understand how this 7 days are structured for you?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
diagram part is the only part which I didn't understand. What diagrams you want to
Okay, whatever you have learned, okay, whatever you have learned, Sangeeta, everything I want you to draw it. How you are drawing, that's up to you. You can simply create a mind map. Okay, whatever your understanding from the learning has to come on a piece of paper, and when you are publishing a small summary, you can showcase that. Okay, I'm going to explain this drawing, this is what my learning was on Sunday or Tuesday, and now I'm explaining, and then explain in a minute or two. Okay,
Okay.
drawing, why drawing is mandatory? Because when you draw that creates the blueprint what you are going to explain, what Prerna was talking about, the blueprint already. Clear now, the drawing part?
Yeah.
And there is a psychology behind it, there is a science behind it as well, that strengthen your dendrite connection, that lessen the possibility of losing the data from your mind, that strengthen again your memory, that retains the memory power at the higher level. That is the science behind that drawing. Did you get it, Sangeeta? Am I audible?
Yeah, sorry, I was unmute. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, no problem. So I assume that you have taken the picture of this, you understood the assignment behind it, and you are clear what is your next step. And you are now clear that how Monday to Sunday you are completely engaged. All right, then if that's the case, let me ask you, because I was talking to Sangeeta. Sangeeta, one thing which comes in your mind for this today's session, because I remember that today you were completely engaged, asking question, you are attentive. What comes in your mind about today's session? What do you feel like saying? I would ask.
So I learned about the Agile Manifesto, the principles of Agile and values of Agile. So, and then how we did the working model, what is necessary, the iterations and the process and the tools, everything.
And I'm glad that you learned and you paid attention. Can you call out someone's name on the screen you see, please?
Archana?
Archana. Yes, Archana. What do you feel like saying?
So for me, this is completely new. So I'm learning new things for the past 2 classes, like about from the basic of agile to like with the principles and manifesto and everything.
All right. And are you enjoying it? This new learning?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. So that's the whole point. Thank you so much for enjoying the new learning. So Archana, call out someone's name on the screen you see.
Tejaswini.
Yes, Tejaswini. What do you feel like saying?
Hey, hi. Thanks, Gaurav and it was really interactive session where you guys were providing so many examples, and the values and the principle that you taught us about the agile were really good, and we learned something new today. And yeah, and even one word that you were stressing about, that we need to provide just not the software, the working software. Yeah, I mean that means like there's a lot of difference between just providing a software and a working software. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, that's it. Like it was really good session.
Thank you, Tejaswini. Tejaswini, call out someone's name on your screen you see.
Prerna.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, Prerna, what do you want to say?
Thank you,
What's your
Tejaswini.
closing
Yeah.
remarks?
So overall, today's session was really nice. It was interactive, and as a trainer, I felt great that you could ask questions, and and we were able to answer them. And from a topic point of view, if you ask me, absolutely very essential and important topics. Rather, I would say this is the base for further sessions. So I'll recommend you to rewatch this video, and in case you have any further doubts, you can reach out to us. So overall, a great session, and thank you so much for being so attentive and cooperative. Overall, thank you so much. Over to you, Gaurav.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, indeed. It was good questions coming from you, and I would encourage you to keep asking questions. Also, just check out the time limitation that we are asking question, you are getting answers, and also you are learning whatever is we are trying to accommodate into the chapter. And along with that, it is going to be a longer gap when you are not talking or we are not talking after Tuesday till Sunday we meet back. In that, things will fizzle out if you will not remain connected, but there is a way to remain connected, and that is whatever assignments we have been asking you to complete, finally do complete that and keep us posted that you are doing this. That way we will remain connected with each other. Okay. So are you all going to do this? If
Yeah.
answer is yes, it means you have understood.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So yes, then we can conclude here. Thank you for your time and good night. Enjoy your rest of the week. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Prerna.
night.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.